Welcome to the course on stochastic modeling. In this lecture, we will look at the discrete time Markov chain and look at the properties of the states of the DTMC. And using the properties, we will classify the states such that we will be able to analyze the behavior or the dynamics of the DTMC. In particular, we will be able to find out whether a stationary probability density function exists for the DTMC, that is the limiting or the stationary state occupancy probability, whether it exists or not. So let's consider a DTMC that has a finite number of states. We can also extend this formalism for a countably infinite number of states. So let's consider a state I and another state J. If there is a way by which you can traverse from the state I to state J along certain edges which has got weights which are nothing but the transition probabilities which are non-null, then we know that in a future time point from state I we would be able to go to state J. So we will formalize this idea and tell that the state J is reachable from state I or accessible from state I if there exists a probability Pi to j in n steps which is greater than 0. So that for some n there should be a probability Pi to j in n steps which has to be greater than 0. Then we say that j is reachable or accessible from I. We indicate it in a notational form I and then an arrow mark to j, which has to be read is j can be reached from I, or there exists a way by which you can go from I to j with in certain number of steps with, and the probability for that event is non-null. So this is denoted as I to j. Then you may be able to find out whether j is reachable from I. Supposing you are also able to find out that I is reachable from j, that is, use the same condition. There has to be an n for which Pji of n has to be greater than 0. Then I can be reached from j or I is accessible from j. Now we have a case where we have two states I and j. I can be reached from j and j can be reached from I. So we say that I and j communicate with each other. Formally, j can be reached from I and I can be reached from j. Then we say I and j communicate with each other, and if these two conditions are obeyed, then we tell that I and j communicate with each other and denote it using a notation which is I and j which are connected by a double arrow mark. We assume that I is always can be reached from I in, of course, 0 time steps, which means that I is reachable from I and also that I communicates with itself. So this is a trivial observation that we make. Then we can also tell that if j is reachable from I and k is reachable from j, then k is reachable from I. So this is a property which we can be easily found out. So how do we test it? So if j is reachable from I, then for some n, Pij of n is greater than 0. If k is reachable from j, then for some m, Pjk of m is greater than 0. We know from the Chapman-Kolmogorov equation, Pik of m plus n can be written as sigma over all k, Pik of m plus n can be written as sigma over all k, Pij of n into Pjk of m. Because they are finite, Pik of m plus n is also finite. So there exists a finite integer m plus n such that Pik is of that m plus n is greater than 0. So which means that k is reachable from I. In a similar manner, if I and j communicate with each other and j and k communicate with each other, it is also we can note that I is reachable from k. So I and k also communicate with each other. So this associative nature of reachability and communicating property can be easily noted. With all these things, we can come up with a definition called as the communicating class. So a communicating class is a non-empty subset of states of the set of all states in the Markov chain DTMC, such that if a state I is element of C and j element of C, then I and j communicate with each other. And all states which communicate with a given state of that class belong to that class. And so they form a closed set in the sense that given any pair of states within that class, they communicate with each other. And we can also note that if you have a state outside this class, then that state will not communicate with any given state within the class. If it were able to communicate, then all other states will also be able to communicate with the state which is assumed to be outside, and because communication is possible, it will come into this class. So it follows that any given pair of states within the class communicate with each other, and they do not communicate, any given state within the class do not communicate with any class, any state outside this class. Therefore, communicating class forms a closed set. There may be one or more communicating classes within the set of all states or the state space of a DTMC. If there is only one state and it doesn't communicate with another, it becomes a singleton set. So we saw that communicating classes are closed sets, and therefore we will be able to partition the set of all nodes in a DTMC into a number of communicating classes such that these communicating classes do not intersect with each other. The intersection of two communicating classes is a null set. Thus we say that the set of all states of a DTMC can be partitioned into a number of subsets, each of which is a communicating class. So this is a very important point that we note. Then a Markov chain is said to be irreducible if there exists one and only one communicating class, which means that all states of the Markov chain belong to that class which is a communicating class, and there is no other communicating class in the state space of the DTMC. So then we say that the DTMC is irreducible. You cannot reduce it and divide it into two or more communicating classes. There is only one communicating class that is present in the DTMC. Then we introduce a notion called periodicity of a state. Roughly what we mean by that is, starting from a given state, we may be able to come back to the states after a certain number of time steps, and probability for that happening can also be found out. So we are interested in this property of returning back to a given state starting from that state, and define the periodicity based on that notion. So given a state I, we say that it has a period di if di is the largest integer found out from the following way. To be more specific, we will first introduce a notion of that suppose there exists for some n Pij of n greater than 0, then we know that I and j communicate, j is reachable from I. Now take j to be I. We only treat one state, that is Pi with I itself. So what it means is, we look at Pii of n and list out all such Pi of n which are all greater than 0 for all possible n's. That is, I can be reached from I after one time step, or 3 or 5 or 7 or 9 and so on, with non-zero probability. If that is the case, we say that Pii of n for n is equal to that 1, 3, 5 and all are all non-zeros. So find all such n's for which Pii of n is greater than 0. You will have a set of integers. Then find the GCD of these values of n for which Pii of n is greater than 0, and that GCD is what we call as the period of the state I. Okay, so that is what is written here. A state I as a period di, where di is the largest integer found out by the following way. List out the possible values of n such that Pii of n is greater than 0, and take the GCD of these values. Formally, di is equal to GCD of all n such that Pii of n is greater than 0. That is what we call as the periodicity of a state. If the period of a state is 1, we say that the state is aperiodic. Okay, so given a state, we can find the periodicity of the state, or we can tell whether the state is aperiodic or not. It can be shown that all states in a given communicating class will have the same period. We are not formally proving it, but it can be shown that if you have a state that has I in a communicating class C dash with a period A, then any other state J in the same communicating class will also have the same period. In particular, if a state in a communicating class is aperiodic, all other states in that communicating class will also be aperiodic. This is a property which is an important property, we have to note it. So we say that periodicity is a class property. That is, it's a property which is common to all states within a communicating class. Such a property which is common across all states in a class is called as the class property. It's not just a property of the state. This property is obeyed or followed by all states in a class. So it's a class property. Then we will talk about a class and call it as a closed class, such that what we mean by a closed class in a from common sense point of view is that you can enter into it but you cannot come out of it. That is what the notion of the closeness will tell you, and here is that precise thing we are trying to formally put it. That is, you will be able to, there is a probability that you can reach a state within the class from outside the class, from a state outside the class, but having got into the class, the probability of getting out of it is 0. So more formally, consider a particular class S1. This is a communicating class S1, which has to be a subset of the entire state space of the DTMC. If there is a state I which is an element of S1 and state J which is not an element of S1, that is outside S1, then if Pij of n is equal to 0 for all n, then we say state J is not reachable from state I. Okay, so we say that J cannot be reached from I if Pi of n, Pij of n is equal to 0 for all n. And for any given I within S1 on any given J outside S1, if this property is obeyed, condition is obeyed, then we say that the class, communicating class S1 is closed. If from state I, if we can get into state, if from state I, if we can get into state S1, from that is from an outside state, you will be able to get into state S1, but we cannot come out of state S1. That is what it means. So we can call S1 to be a closed class, or we can call S1 to be an absorbing class, because once we get into the state, we get absorbed and we can not be able to come out. You have to note that all communicating classes are not closed. Only certain communicating classes can be closed. The other name of such closed classes is absorbing classes. Supposing if a Markov chain has only one closed class, okay, then the DTMC is known as an irreducible Markov chain. So we saw that it has only one communicating class, and which means there is no state outside the communicating class in the state space. Obviously, you have to remain within the state space, so it is also irreducible. So an irreducible Markov chain is a one which has got only one communicating class, and that communicating class has to be a closed communicating class. Then transient state. Again, from the look at the word transient, we will be able to understand why we call them as transient state. That is, it's a transient phenomenon. You can go through the state, but it is unlikely that you can come back to that state. Okay, so suppose you have if Pij of n is greater than 0, what it means is you can go from I to j in n steps with a non-zero probability. In telling this condition, we have not told that we are going from I to j in n steps such that we touch I for the first time. That is not meant. What we only say is from I we can go to j in n steps with a finite or non-zero probability. We might have gone to j once or more before within the time step in itself. This may be a second time we may be reaching j, or third time, and so on. Okay, but now we are interested in when we go from I to j for the first time, because that will convey a lot of meaning when we try to define whether a state is transient or not. Again, for that we will use a notation. We will call that Fij of n is the probability that starting from the state I to reach the state j for the first time in n steps, which means that we start from I, we go to j for the first time in state n. In that n steps, only in the nth step j is visited, not in between. And the probability of doing that is visiting j from I only in the nth step for the first time, is denoted by Fij of n. Okay. Then, so Fij of n can be found out for different values of n. Okay. If you find out, so f for in the first time in the for n is equal to 1, 2, 3 and so on, all these probabilities can be found out. If you add up all these things, that is sigma n varying from 1 to infinity Fii of n, then if Fii of n is less than 1, then we say that state I is a transient state. That is, starting from I, if you come back to I, okay, in n step for any given n, if that is less than 1, it means that there is a possibility or a finite probability of not reaching I again, not revisiting I again. Then obviously we call that state as the transient state. Or this capital Fii, which is obtained by summing small Fii of n over all values of n, indicates of starting from I, revisiting I eventually, because what we do is we consider all possible of n and add up all those probabilities. So it is an eventually revisiting I. If the probability of eventually revisiting I is less than 1, then 1 minus capital Fii is the probability of not revisiting I at all. Then obviously it means that with finite probability you may never come back to I, which will happen only when you get stuck somewhere else. You get into an absorbing class or so. That is why we call, if any state obeys this condition, capital Fii is less than 1, we state that it is a transient state. On the other hand, if Fii equal to 1, what it means is, starting from I, the probability of eventually returning back to I is 1, that it will definitely, you will come back to I. Then we say that the state I is a recurrent state or a persistent state. Then the state I is said to be a recurrent state. Then you can further dwell into the concept of the recurrent state. Well, starting from I, eventually you will come back to I. That occurs with probability 1. But the time, expected time in which you will come back to I, that may be finite or it may be very large or infinite. Which means that you will come back, but the time to come back can be very large. Okay? It is not transient, but those probabilities are very less. If you want to differentiate these two cases, that is why we introduce another notion, the mean recurrence time. That is, if what we do is we find the expected time it takes for coming back to I starting from I. How do we find it? We know that small fii of n is the probability of starting from I and coming back to I in n steps. So for all values of n from 1 to infinity, you can find those probabilities. Obviously, the mean recurrence time from I to I is nothing but the summation of fii of n with the weightage n. So the time to return to I in n steps is being weighted by fii of n, and you sum it over all values of n. This is the expected time it takes to return back to I, or the mean recurrence time. So this value mu ii can be finite or infinite. How can it become infinite? That is, fii of n, okay, is a very small, supposing if these values fii of n, the time for coming back to I, okay, that value of n, it may take very large amount of steps n for coming back to I with some probability. That is, after 10,000 steps or 1 lakh steps only you may come back to I. Okay, so those probabilities are all that those events are possible. That is why fii of n for large n's are non-zero, and you are multiplying it by those values of n and then adding it up. So if the probability of returning back to I for the first time are all finite, non-null for large values of n, and these summation can diverge, and therefore the mean recurrence time may become infinite. What it tells is, you will come back to I, but the time it takes to come back to I on the average, okay, it's infinite. But on the other hand, if mu ii is finite, then we say that the mean recurrence time is a finite quantity, and to distinguish between these two things, we define two cases of recurrent state. If mu ii is equal to infinity, we say that the state I is null recurrent, and if mu ii is less than infinity, we say that it is positive recurrent or non-null recurrent. So now we have classified the different states based on the periodicity, reachability, and so on. So what we will do is, we will quickly recollect all those we have discussed. J can be reached from I, then we say J is reachable from I. If J is reachable from I and I is reachable from J, then I and J communicate, and then it has the associative property also is obeyed. If I and J communicate, J and K communicate, I and K communicate, and therefore they form a closed communicating class, and the state space can be partitioned into communicating classes. And then we define the periodicity. It is the GCD of all such values of n for which Pi of n is greater than 0. If the period is 1, then the state is aperiodic. All states within an communicating class has the same period, same value of period. Then the time to revisit a given state for the first time, okay, in n steps can be found out, and time to eventually coming back to the state can also be found out. And if that is finite, then then the finite in the sense, if it is less than 1 then it is transient, if it is equal to 1 then it is recurrent. And you can also calculate the mean recurrence time. If the mean recurrence time is infinite, then it is a null recurrent state. If the mean recurrence time is less than infinite, or if it is finite, then we say it is a positive recurrent or a non-null recurrent. Then if a system is by that we mean a DTMC is aperiodic, it has irreducible. Why we say it is aperiodic is that if it is irreducible, it has only one communicating class which is closed, and then and if a state is aperiodic, in that all states are aperiodic because it's a class property. So if it is an irreducible, if it is irreducible and the periodicity which is a class property is 1, then it is an aperiodic irreducible DTMC. Further, if the states are positive recurrent, then the chain is called as an ergodic chain. So in a DTMC that is an irreducible, there is only one closed set. If a system is this is the most important statement. It is actually a theorem, but we will not formally prove it. If a system is ergodic, that is, if it is aperiodic, irreducible, and states which are positive recurrent, then it has a unique limiting probability, which can be, of course, be obtained from the transition probability matrix using the condition pi equal to pi p, where pi is the state occupancy vector. By solving this equation, pi can be found out, and pi will be a limiting probability vector, which is also a stationary probability vector. So if a DTMC is ergodic, then existence of the stationary state occupancy vector is guaranteed. Okay, with all these formalism in our mind, okay, we can go about analyzing the Markov chains. Now, up to now, we have only looked at the different class properties in a formal manner. It is time we take some examples to put our understanding to use and analyze the properties of the various Markov chains. We are going to look at 8 examples, and each example will give you and will make you to understand all these class properties in a more detailed manner. So in each of these examples, we will take up a Markov chain by giving the Markov chain diagram or the transition probability matrix and analyze it. So first look at a Markov chain which has TPM as given here. We want to analyze this Markov chain. So it has got 3 states. We will number the state as 1, 2, 3. So the I, which is the former state, or stands for the index of the row. This is I is equal to 1, I is equal to 2, I is equal to 3. And this is the later state to which we reach, J, indexed as 1, 2, 3. So this element is P11, P12, 1, 3, 21, 22, 23, 31, 32, 33. So this way of labeling the elements in the TPM is to be clearly understood because we are going to heavily use it. Again, by P22 means probability of going from state 2 to state 2. And this 1 by 3 indicates the probability of going from state 3 to state 2. Probability of going from state 2 to state 3 is 1 by 4. Well, now there are 3 states we have labeled as 1, 2, 3. Then with this one, what we can see is that 1 and 2 communicate with each other. How we can find? See, P12 is finite. So there exists P12 of 1 which is greater than 0. So 2 is reachable from 1. How about P21? P21 in one step is also 1 by 2, which means that 1 is reachable from 2. So look at these two conditions. 2 is reachable from 1, 1 is reachable from 2. Therefore 1 and 2 communicate with each other. Similarly, we can also observe other things. From 1 we can go to 2. From 2 we can go to 3. Okay. So 2 is reachable from 1, 3 is reachable from 2, therefore 3 is reachable from 1. So the reachability also can be figured out from the associative nature. So 2 is reachable from 1, 3 is reachable from 2 means 3 is reachable from 1. The other way, if you try to go, from 3 you can go to 2, from 2 we can go to 1. So 1 is reachable from 3, which means that 1 and 3 communicate with each other. So we see that 1 and 2 communicate with each other, 2 and 3 communicate with each other, and therefore 1 and 3 also communicate with each other. Therefore we have got the three states 1, 2, 3 forming one communicating class. Therefore we observe that all states are reachable from all other states and also communicating with each other. Therefore there is only one closed communicating set. Thus it is an irreducible Markov chain. Going beyond, we can also look at the periodicity of this set for this class of the various states. For that, it is enough if you find the period of one state in the whole communicating class, because once we find the period of one state, all other states will have the same period. Look at 1. P11 of 1 is 1, is off, it's non-zero. Okay, that is from 1 you can go to 1 with a probability 1 by 2. P11 of 1 is greater than 0, and then in 2 steps also you can go. From 1 you can go to 2, and from 2 you can come back to 1. So P11 of 2 is also greater than 0, and in this manner you can keep on finding the list of n's for which P11 of n is greater than 0. Then you have to find the GCD, but you can see that the GCD is 1. So all these properties are finite and non-zero value, and GCD of these numbers 1, 2, 3 and so on is 1, and therefore the period of state 1 is 1, and therefore state 1 is aperiodic, and therefore all states in this communicating class are also aperiodic. Okay, that simply will be, you can see that you will have values for which you may have values like 2, 5 and so on. Then the GCD has to be 1. That is how the periodicity of the other states may also become 1. So we see that the Markov chain is irreducible and it is aperiodic, and therefore the Markov chain is ergodic. So the limiting probability exists and it can be found out using the formula pi is equal to pi p. We will not do that one, you can take it as an exercise. Well, now we will go to another example. Consider the Markov chain with the following transition probability matrix, like this one, and we will look at the class properties, the properties of various states in that one. So now look at this one. First we look at that, you look at the states 1 and 2. It looks like there is a block matrix within this submatrix in this one. From 1, of course, you can remain in 1 or you can go to 2. From 1 you cannot go to 3, 4, 5. Similarly, from 2 also you cannot go to 3, 4, 5. But between 1 and 2 you can go to each other. So what it means is, therefore, first we note that 2 is reachable from 1, 1 is reachable from 2. 1 and 2 communicate with each other. But 1 and 2 do not communicate with any other states outside it, that is 3, 4, 5. Therefore, 1 and 2 form a communicating class. 1 and 2 do not communicate with each other. To find the communicating class, you have to find all such states, okay, which communicate with each other, and once you are ensured that there is no more state that can be added to it, then only you can declare that it is a communicating class. Now you look at 3 and 4. 3, from 3 to 3 you can go, 3 to 4 you can go. You cannot go to 1, 2, 5. Similarly, from 4 you can go to 3 or remain in 4, but you cannot go to 1, 2 and 5. So which means that 3 and 4 can communicate with each other, but they don't communicate with any other state, and therefore 3 and 4 form another communicating class which is closed. So 1 is a forms a communicating class, 1, 2 forms a communicating class, 3, 4 also forms a closed communicating class. Beyond that, 1 and 2 is an absorbing class, in the sense that once you get into 1 and 2 you cannot come back. Similarly, 3 and 4 is also a closed or absorbing class. How about 5? If you start from 1, 2, 3, 4 you cannot reach 5, but from 5 you can go to 1 or 2, and therefore you see that from 5 you can reach 1 and 2, but not the other way. So 1 is reachable from 5, but 5 is not reachable from 1. They don't communicate. So you can't put 5 into the communicating class of 1 and 2. So 5 is a transient class, okay, because note very carefully that P5 of 1 is 1 by 2. That is, the probability of remaining in 5 is 1 by 2, which also means that you can remain in 5 forever in a particular realization, but there is a finite probability that this will not occur. Once you come out of 5, then you can never return back to 5. That is why this is very important. It does not mean that transient does not mean that there is a possibility that you can be in 5, but once you come out of it, you cannot return back. That is why the mean recurrence time, if you try to calculate, okay, for that it will be infinite. That is why it is transient. Next, look at one more Markov chain whose TPM is given by this one, and analyze this. Before that, you can see that if you have this kind of a block structure that indicates that there are certain classes which are absorbing or closed class. So the more the number of zeros, it's very likely that you will find many closed classes, okay. But that sometimes the presence of 0 can be misleading, so you have to carefully analyze the Markov chain before coming to any conclusion whether there are many closed classes or not. Look at this Markov chain. From 1 we can go to 2 or 3. From 2 you can go to 1. From 3 you can go to 2. From 4 you can go to 2. And from 1 you can go to 4. Although you see the number of zeros indicates that from 3 and 4 you can only go to 2. 2 can lead to 1, which can in turn lead to 3 and 4. So it means that 1, 2, 3, 4, you can easily see that they form a communicating class. From 4 you can reach 1 or 2 or 3, and similarly the other way. So it happens for all these states. Thus it is an irreducible Markov chain. So the entire set of states form a closed set, and it is an irreducible one. Now consider a Markov chain of this kind. And let us look at the classify the states of this kind of a Markov chain. This kind of a Markov chain. So what do you figure out from this one? So here 1 and 2 are such that 1 and 2 communicate with each other, that's clear, and then therefore they form a closed set. 3, if you look at it, from 3 you can go to all states, any state that you want, okay, but if you go to 1 and 2 you cannot come back, therefore 3 has to be transient. From 4 you can go to 3 and come back to 4 and so on, but that does not mean 3 and 4, okay. They form a communicating class because from 4 you can go to 3, from 3 you can go to 4. 3 and 4 communicate with each other, but this communicating class is a transient class, because from this class 3, 4, once you go to 1, 2 you cannot return back. So that is what you figure it from this one. Now consider this Markov chain and let us analyze it. Now we will try to not only analyze the nature of the class, nature of the states as transient or absorbing, or what kind of classes they form and so on. We also look at the periodicity and so on. So first look at the state 1, okay, and then we can find that ft3 of 1. What it means? Starting from state 3, going back to state 3 for the first time in one jump, okay. So 3 to 3 in one jump, that is 1. That is 1 by 2. That is given by this one. What is, so f33 of 2, that is starting from 3 you have to come back to 3 only in the second time step, not before that. It is not that you can remain in 3 and then get this one, okay. You have to go out of 3 and then come back to 3 in the second step. So is it possible to do that? Starting from 3, if you go out, that is possible only if you go out to 1. Once you go to 1, in the next step you cannot come to 3 because that is 0. You can come to 2, and from 2 you can come to, you can come to 2 and you cannot be able to come back, okay. So f33 of 3 is equal to 0. Similarly f33 of 2 is also equal to 0. So what is capital F33? That is the probability of eventually returning back to 3, starting from 3, and that is 1 by 2, which means that there is a finite probability that you will never come back to 3, and therefore that makes 3 to be a transient one. Since f33 is less than 1, the state 3 is the transient state. Therefore there is a finite probability that the 3 will not be visited again. How about 4? f44 of 1 is 1 by 2, f44 of 1 is 1 by 2, f44 of 2. So for that you can go to 3, and from 3 you cannot come back. So these are all 0. Again, if you calculate capital F44, that is only 1 by 2, which is less than 1, therefore 4 is also transient. We can try to do it for 1 and 2. So f11 of 1 is 1 by 3, f11 of 2, which means that you can go to 2 and then come back to this one, that is 2 by 3. Okay, so this itself shows that capital F11 is 1. Okay, probability of returning back to this is 1. So the state 1 is persistent, or it is a recurrent state. The mean duration of returning back to 1, okay, can also be found out. What is that? So it is 1 times 1 by 3 plus 2 times 2 by 3, that is equal to 5 by 3. This is the mean recurrence time. Therefore state 1 is non-null or positive recurrent state. Further, state 1 is an aperiodic state because P11 of 1 is non-zero, therefore it becomes aperiodic. It is aperiodic and positive recurrent, therefore the state is called as an ergodic state. Similarly, state 2 is also like that, recurrent, aperiodic, and therefore it is ergodic. The mean recurrence of 2 is different. It can be found out in a similar manner, and that will be 5 by 2. Now we will look at one more Markov chain, which is of this form. Let's analyze this one. So first note that from 1 you can go to 3, from 2 you can go to 4, from 3 you can go to 2, from 4 you can go anywhere. Okay, so all states communicate because of this nature. From 1 you can go to 3, 3 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 come back to 1. So because of this nature, it's a closed communicating class, and therefore it is an irreducible Markov chain. Now if you look at the first probability of visiting a given state for the first time, for state 4, f44 of 1 is 1 by 2, that is given by this one. f44 of 2 is 1 by 8. How we can find out? From 4 you can go to 3 with the probability 1 by 8, and 3 you can come back to 4, that is why it is 1 by 8. Similarly, if you want to go to 3, in 3 step you want to go, the way you can go it is from 4 you can go to 1, from 4 you go to 1 you go to 3, 1 of you from 4 you go to 2, and then from you go to 4, from 4 you go to 2, so this 1 and 1 will get multiplied, and therefore you will get 4, f44 of 3 is also 1 by 8. So you can see that you can add all the steps to get 1, and therefore this is a positive recurrent state. All states have the same property, and therefore it is ergodic. Well, now if you have a closed communicating class and irreducible Markov chain, okay, that does not mean a limiting probability exists. The condition of aperiodic nature is also very important. That is what we are going to look at in this very simple trivial Markov chain. You have a two-state Markov chain with the states 1 and 2, and the transition probabilities between them is 1 1. So from 0 you go to 1 in the next step, and from 1 you go to 0, and it goes like this one. So if you look at this one, 0 is reachable from 1, 1 is reachable from 0, they communicate, and therefore there is a closed communicating class and so on. But if you look at the periodicity, this is not aperiodic, the periodicity is 2. If you want to come starting from 0, if you want to come back to 0, you cannot do it in one step. You can do it in 2 steps or 4 steps and so on. The GCD of that is 2. Therefore the period of state 0 is 2, which will also be the periodicity of state 1. That also can be seen individually by calculating for 1. So it is not aperiodic, and therefore the limiting probability is not guaranteed to exist. But if you also look at that one, the limiting probability will not exist. At a given time n, if the probability of being in this is 1, okay, the chain keeps oscillating between these two. We will look at a last example. Consider this Markov chain and let us analyze it. First look at this 1 2 0 1 2. What we find is from 1 you can go to 0, 0 to 2, 2 to 1. So 0 1 2 communicate with each other, and therefore they form a communicating class. And is 3 reachable from 0? Yes, but 0 is not reachable from 3. So 3 do not belong here, and it is like that 1 and 1 to 0 does not communicate with any other class, 3 or these things, because okay. Similarly, if you look at 4 5 6, they communicate with each other, and because look at this arrow that clearly tells that you can get into this state, this class, but you can't come out because of this nature of there is only one way arrow that leads to this closed communicating class. Okay, so it forms a closed one and so on. You look at 3, it is a transient state. Okay, and the thing is you can remain it for a long time, but once you come to 3 is visited only once before you get into this absorbing state. Okay, but 1 0 1 2 is a closed communicating class, but it is still a transient class because you can come out of it, but you cannot come back to it. Okay, so but 4 5 6 is an absorbing class. That is one thing. If you look at the periodicity of this class is 1. Okay, because 4 can be, you can come back to 4 in 2 steps or 3 steps, 4 to 6, 6 to 4, or 4 to 5, 5 to 6, 6 to 4. 2 3 is possible at least, and some other things may be possible. 4 4 is 1 is not possible, so the GCD has to be 1. So 4 is aperiodic, and therefore 5 and 6 are also aperiodic. Whereas if you look at the periodicity of this class, it is actually 3. Okay, so that way we can analyze this Markov chain. So we will stop at this point. So we have looked at the formalism behind state classification of DTMC and find out the condition under which a limiting state occupancy factor exists. Thank you.